An example of NZX's New Zealand milk price futures. This example is of a dairy farmer called Sue, who was using New Zealand milk price futures to hedge her farm's exposure to milk price volatility. Because Sue produces and sells milk, she would naturally sell milk price futures in order to protect from the risk of falling prices, which is known as a short futures position. Sue produces 240,000 kilograms of milk solids per season. Her break-even price to produce milk is $5.50 per kilogram of milk solids, and she is wanting to secure her profit on a portion of her farm's production for the season ahead. At the start of the season, Sue checks the NZX milk price futures market via her broker, which shows that traders in the market are willing to buy 10 lots of milk price futures at $6.50 for the season ahead. One lot of milk price futures equates to 6,000 kilograms of milk solids. Sue then decides to sell 10 lots at the price of $6.50, which is equivalent to 60,000 kilograms of milk solids, or 25% of her seasonal production. To enter the position, Sue needs to fund her margin account. At the time, initial margin rates are $2,500 per lot. For 10 lots, Sue needs to post $25,000 to pre-fund her margin account with her broker to open the hedge. Initial margin acts like a bond and is repaid when the futures position settles or is closed. Between now and the announcement of Fonterra's final farmgate milk price, if there are changes in the price of the futures market, variation margin must be paid or received. This is quite straightforward. It is simply the price of Sue's futures position minus the daily settlement price, which is the price where market finished trading on the day. The next day, the futures market price drops to $6.40. Sue receives $6,000 variation margin into her brokerage account. This is the difference between her contract rate at $6.50 and the daily settlement price of $6.40 being 10 cents. On the second day, the settlement price moves higher to $6.60. Sue now has to ensure that $12,000 is available in her margin account to cover the 20-cent move higher. She uses the $6,000 received yesterday and adds $6,000 more to cover the additional 10 cents market movement. Variation margin can change throughout the season as the market price moves, which is why Sue has a margin finance facility in place with her bank with sufficient headroom to allow for moves higher in price. At the end of the season, the milk price has fallen and the final farmgate milk price is announced by Fonterra at $5.50. This also becomes the final settlement price of the milk price futures contract. Sue receives $5.50 per kilogram of milk solids from supplying her milk to her processor, Fonterra. Sue also receives a gain of $1 in the futures market, being the difference between her sold futures at $6.50 per kilogram of milk solids and the final settlement price of $5.50. This equates to $60,000 for her milk price futures position. In addition to the income from her processor of $330,000 for the 60,000 kilograms of milk solids means that Sue's effective net price is $6.50 for her hedged production. Sue's initial margin is also returned to her by her broker upon settlement of the contract. If the final Fonterra milk price was announced at $7.50, then Sue would have been paid $7.50 by her processor for supplying her milk and had to pay $1 on the settlement of her milk price futures position, again giving her an effective rate of $6.50 for her hedged production. In this way, milk price futures have allowed Sue to lock in the price of $6.50 for 60,000 kilograms of milk solids, or 25% of her production, despite any movements in the underlying physical market. If Sue was supplying a different processor, she may receive a different price for her milk than Fonterra's final milk price, which is the NZX settlement price. This difference is called basis. Non-Fonterra suppliers are still able to use NZX milk price futures to manage their price risk. For further explanations and examples of basis risk, or to learn more, please refer to our other educational videos at the link on screen.